Thank you very much for the opportunity to do the Sergeant session today. John, thank you for your prayer because it's completely relevant. So I want to talk about transparency at the center of the COVID crisis. And I want to talk about how shining the light on integrity and transparency has made a difference to beating the cunning COVID in New Zealand. So the first question is, New Zealand has had 22 deaths per million. How many deaths per million for the US? Hands up for the first one. Hands up for the second one, 250 deaths per million. Hands up for the third one, 400 deaths per million. Well, US has over 430 deaths per million. It's a tale of two countries. The US has 432 deaths per million as of today, and growing over 100 times the number of deaths in the US and in New Zealand. So question two, the COVID-19 data of confirmed and probable cases has been published at least from March 2020 by the US CDC, by the New Zealand Ministry of Health, or by both. Hands up who think it's by both. The CDC only started publishing probable and confirmed cases from 14 April. And now the government is changing and saying that instead of the CDC publishing data in the US, it's going to be published by the National Health Service. Which of the following countries have had 0 cases of the virus? Well, in fact, at this time last year, 0. None of those countries had any cases of trick question. But you're absolutely right. Cook Islands and Samoa have no cases at all, and they don't even show up on any of the international data sets because they're not part of the 213 countries and municipalities which have experienced COVID cases. Who does the most tests per million in the world? Australia, Brazil, Hong Kong, Korea, New Zealand, USA. Korea? Hong Kong, 442,256 tests per million in Hong Kong. Until recently, the US was trailing Australia and New Zealand. But as you can see, New Zealand now is starting to trail everyone else because now that we've kicked the COVID, people aren't so willing to go get tested. So which country has the highest number of cases per million in the world? Brazil, Italy, Qatar, Spain, United Kingdom, United States. Believe it or not, with all of its cases per million, Qatar actually has more than the United States. The United States, how many US states in the United States have more than 100,000 cases? So there's one country in the world that has more than 1,000 cases per, sorry, that's not properly stated. It's 1,000 cases per million. There's more, sorry for the question being misleading. Anyway, there are, no, sorry, I take it back. There are 10 states that have more than 100,000 cases per state. It's talking about deaths. And they have more cases in the United States now than all of Europe. How many states have over 1,000 deaths per million in America? New York's one. There's 3 others. New Jersey actually has more than New York. Connecticut and Massachusetts, with Georgia, Florida, and Arizona following quickly behind. In comparison, Australia has 5 deaths per million, New Zealand 4 deaths per million, China 3 deaths per million, and the world average is 77.6 deaths per million. Which age group in New Zealand has the highest number of cases? You guys, you should know better than that. We're all healthy and well, are we not? It's the 30 to 49 group. You're right. They ignore the rules. They break out of quarantine. For which country is the bubble open? Australia, the Cook Islands, the mainland, or Taiwan? The mainland. The bubble is opened in the mainland. What was the rate of economic growth in New Zealand? Now we're going to start talking about the recovery now that we're actually kicked to the COVID. So what was the rate of economic growth in New Zealand for the March year 2020? 2%, 1.5%, 0.5 minus, or minus 1.5%? How many for the first one? 2.0, okay. How many for the second one? For the third one, 0.5 minus? For the last one, 1.5. Quarterly growth was minus 1.6, but growth for the year ended March was 1.5 positive growth. And unemployment at that point was 4.2%. Richard, you should know that one. So I would like you to all sing, please. And I've talked to a few of you that you would join me in this. This land is your land. This land is my land. From Cape Reinga to the Stewart Island. From the Pacific Ocean to the Tasman Sea. This land was made for you and me.